So let's see how you can damage and kill your character. So basically this is Unity, still on beginner level, and currently my player is having an infinite amount of life. So let's see how the game behaves. As you can see, these enemy objects, and if I scroll or control my player, the enemy gets to go through the character, my character. Nothing happens, and there's the feature of actually shooting the enemy, which is fine, but this is not what we want right now. We actually want to destroy our character. So let's see how you can do that. I'll just stop the game, go to Visual Studio, so I have multiple classes here: enemy, laser, player, CS, and spawn manager. We want to destroy the player. So let's see how we can do that. First things first, we just have to give the character a certain amount of lives. If we want to find the variable, if we want to actually let other developers collaborate and find the variable, we implement serialize field. And clear our variable. Let's call it lives. Let's give it 3 lives so far. And keep in mind, I'm just on the beginner level. Been following through Jonathan Weinberger's course on Unity development, so it's very fun. Yeah, this line just gives the player 3 lives. So what can we do with this? Let's create a function. We'll make it public so that we can let the variables interact with each other, with all classes within my project. Just call this damage. And we want to deduct the lives from our character. And we can do this by saying lives is equal to lives minus 1. Well, you can make this shorter, but I like it like this, so it's fine. So what's our logic here? Let's see. We want to know and check if I'm dead. Then what happens next? We destroy the player. This can be done with an if statement. So if lives is less than 1, so far we have 3 lives. So if life becomes less than 1, what do? We destroy the player. And I'll type destroy the game object. Okay. Just save that. Let's see how this performs or actually works in Unity. So far here at the bottom right, you can see that we have a live set as 3. That's the reason why we used serialize field. Okay, nothing happens so far. means something is wrong. I'm getting hit, but nothing is happening. So I'll just pause this. Go back to Visual Studio. So what we need to do is check if our enemy hits our character, then we destroy our character. Let's go to the enemy class, and our logic here will be, we need to implement, we actually need to call the class. And how do we do that? In Unity, so if other dot tag so I'm going to name this player because I tagged my player character here as player, so that's what I'm calling. So if the player is actually interacted with, or if you interact with the player within the game, what happens? We're trying to damage. So we'll call the player class and declare a variable here. Let's get component. So let's see what this does. It returns the component of type if the game object has one attached, null if it doesn't. Okay, and as you can see, what does this do? Returns the component of type if the game object. Okay, so this is what we're going to use. And as you can see, it needs, you actually need to have your player class here. So let's call it player. Okay, what this does is that it calls the function damage from our player class. So let's check. Let's write the pseudocode here. If player is dead, damage. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Seems we have an error expression to evaluate. The suppression operator is not allowed. Show potential fixes. Okay. Unnecessary assignment of a value to player. See. Otherwise, you want to destroy. This game object. Seems you have it. Okay guys, I was able to fix the error, but now let's see what actually happens. Okay, so let's try to understand what's happening here. Try to clean up the code a bit. So this function called onTrigger says onTrigger event. OnTrigger enter is called when the collider other enters the trigger. Let's look at our game object. We have our player. We set it as a prefab, and this trigger is enabled, and we also have rigid body enabled. I disable the gravity. So when this function is called, you can call this anything, and the player, someone collides with a player within your game, then get the class player, which is this, and then call the function damage. So the code is going to come back to this function, and whenever our enemy interacts with our character, the life should get destroyed and reduced by 1. And eventually, when the lives is less than 1, our character should be killed. So let's try to save this and run it on Unity. Wait for it to compile. And if you run it, let's see what happens. We'll click on the player. Currently we have 3 lives here. So let's see. 1. That was 1 hit, and our lives changed. I'll just start it over again so that you can see. Click on player. That's 1 hit. Second hit. Another enemy respawn. Let's wait for a 3rd hit. 3rd hit, and our character gets killed. That's it. Thank you for watching.